Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Holly and I'm here with a special story for you. Oh, it's the Mighty Thor. Do I look like him? Okay, here we go. The Mighty Thor, an origin story. What would it be like to live among legends? To be something more than human? To hold great power in your hands and know how to use it? To be feared? To be brave? To be honored? To be mighty? Some are born with these qualities, and some spend their lives working to attain them. This is a story about someone who was born into royalty but needed to earn his honor. This is a story about a hero named Thor. Thor's realm was called Asgard. It sat like an island whose shores were swept by the sea of space. The people who lived in Asgard were called Asgardians, and the Asgardians called our world Midgard. The only way to reach our world from theirs was by the Rainbow Bridge, Bifrost. The bridge was guarded by the sentry called Heimdall. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Even though Asgard was well protected, threats were endless. Thor was one of the land's great protectors. He was also a prince. He lived with his brother Loki in the castle of their father Odin. Thor was arrogant and chose his friends for their loyalty, the brave warrior Balder and a band of soldiers called the Warriors. 3, Fandral, Volstagg, and Hogun, and the beautiful, strong, and wise Lady Sif. Thor's father Odin ruled over all of Asgard. He and his wife Frigga wanted nothing more than for their sons to grow up to be worthy rulers. But there could only be one supreme ruler of Asgard, only one who could be like Odin. And even though Loki was thoughtful, clever, and quick, Thor was firstborn, and so the throne was his by right. To determine when Thor would be ready to rule, Odin had a special hammer made. It was forged from a mystical metal called Ura, which came from the heart of a dying star. The hammer was named Mjolnir, and it held great power. But no one would be able to lift the hammer unless he or she was worthy. Boys and girls, I have a special treat for you. I happen to have Mjolnir here today. Let's see if I'm worthy. What do you guys think? Ready? All right, I did it. I used to make some noise. The mighty hammer of Thor. All right. Now that I've been fooling around, I lost my place. The hammer was immovable to Thor. He was not worthy. Still, Odin's action made it clear. The hammer was meant for his son, his firstborn son, and no one else. Even so, proving worthy of Mjolnir was not an easy task. Thor spent nearly every moment trying to earn his right to hold the hammer. He performed amazing acts of bravery. Oh, look at him being so brave. He's fighting a giant. He was honored for his acts of mobility, and he demonstrated feats of great strength. Looks like he's inside a big beast's mouth. Ooh! And honor. With every great achievement, Thor attempted once more to pick up Mjolnir. It seemed as if he would never raise the hammer more than a few inches from the ground. And then, one day, he did! Woo! He's as worthy as I am. Thor had proven himself worthy of the weapon, and he used it well. When he threw the hammer, it always returned to him. When he twirled it by its handle, he could soar like a winged beast. And when he stamped it twice upon the ground, you ready for this? He could summon all the power of lightning, rain, and thunder. In fact, with his hammer in hand, there was little Thor could not do. And he knew it. Odin wanted him to be a great warrior, and he had become one. His father wanted him to earn the respect of Asgard. He had it. But then Thor began to let the power go to his head. And Odin was not happy. In fact, he had grown quite angry with his son. Odin called Thor to his throne room. Thor knew that something was wrong. His father rarely summoned him in such a harsh tone. Thor was sure that his jealous brother Loki had spun some lie to get him into trouble. But nothing could have been further from Thor's mind than what Odin had to say to him. What do you think it's going to be? Odin told Thor that he was his favored son. He told him that he was brave beyond compare and noble as a prince must be. He told him that his strength was legendary, and that he was the best warrior in the kingdom. But Thor did not know what it meant to be weak or to feel pain. And without knowing humility, Thor could never be a truly honorable, worthy warrior. Odin was angry. In his rage, he tore Mjolnir from Thor's hands and threw it toward Midgard. Then he stripped Thor of his armor and sent him to Earth. Odin made his son believe that he was a medical student with an injured leg named Don Blake. As Blake, Thor learned to study hard. At times, he thought he might fail, but he worked harder than he had ever worked in Asgard, and in the end, he earned his degree. He allowed others to help him with his injury. In doing so, he discovered that people were generally good. Thor learned to truly love humanity. As a surgeon, he treated the sick. He helped weak people find their strengths. And one day, while vacationing in Norway, Don Blake found himself trapped in a cave. The only possible exit lay behind a boulder. He found a staff on the ground and shoved it under the boulder. He tried with all his might to move the rock. He pushed and he pushed, but nothing. He was so angry that he took the staff and he struck it on the ground. And that's when it became clear that it was no ordinary stick. It was Mjolnir in disguise. Odin had sent Don to this cave. Odin, the All-Father of Asgard, was pleased. His son had learned humility. He had at last become a complete hero. He had become human in spirit, but still, now and forever, he was the mighty Thor. We finished the story, the story, the story. We finished the story. Hooray, hooray, hooray! Bye-bye.